So are you thinking about relocating somewhere between Chattanooga, Knoxville, and Nashville? Nashville is a beautiful city. I used to live there. In fact, not only did I live there, I moved from Nashville into Chattanooga as well, and I've been to Knoxville many times. So I have a pretty good idea of all three cities and how they stack up against each other. So let's look at the 6 different categories and kind of figure out which one is the best for you, because each one has their own situation. And stay tuned till the end, because I'm going to reveal the most interesting parts of each one. So let's first start with some stats. Knoxville has a population of about 192,000. The metropolitan area is about 870,000 with 104 square miles. Nashville is the largest in the state, obviously, because it's the capital of Tennessee, and it has 679,000 residents with a metro population of about 2,526 square miles of area. And of course, somewhere in between, Chattanooga with 181,000 residents with a metro population of over 560,000 and 143 square miles of population. So Knoxville and Chattanooga about have the same temperament in weather, but Nashville is much more cooler. In fact, it sits up a little higher in some places, especially in North Nashville. You got like Ridgetop and stuff where you have snow almost every year. You will get several inches of snow at times in North Nashville, just above, close to Kentucky in the wintertime. Whereas Knoxville and Chattanooga, you might see snow roughly every 4 years, 2 years if you're lucky. You might get a dusting or maybe a little bit of a half inch or an inch or so. You're going to get rain and the precipitation about the same in Knoxville, Nashville, and Chattanooga, with a little bit cooler weather, obviously, in North Nashville. And so why am I talking about weather? Well, you got to get to your job, right? So if you're in a specific career, it might behoove you, it might be interesting for you to choose a certain area over the others. And some of those are healthcare. Knoxville has major employers like in the University of Tennessee Medical Center and Covenant Health. And Nashville has some great medical opportunities like Skyline Medical Center, which is a trauma hospital mainly. That's what I've noticed, at least, about it. I've had family that works there. And HCA in Nashville as well, which they do great cardiac stuff. There's also manufacturing. In Knoxville, companies like Denso Manufacturing and Clayton Homes dominate the manufacturing industry. Nashville, Nissan, North America brings automotive opportunities all over the place. What's interesting also about that is Chattanooga has Volkswagen, which brings the opportunities for employment all over the place too. So it's dominated kind of by the car industry out here. But Chattanooga also has McKee Foods and Amazon and a bunch of other stuff as well. So it's not just automotive stuff in Chattanooga. We got lots of other stuff as well. But those are some of the main things that people recognize when they come out here. And all three have their tourism as well. And I'm not going to mention Memphis over here because they're kind of on their own little thing with Elvis, but they have Chattanooga is well known for its touristy Chattanooga Choo Choo and all this other stuff. Nashville's the music city, so you're going to have a lot of musicians coming in there, and the Grand Ole Opry is a big deal. And Knoxville, not as much. So let's go on to housing and cost of living. Cost of living in the 3 different cities, Chattanooga, Knoxville, and Knoxville has slightly lower than Chattanooga, offering more affordable lifestyle, just a little bit though, not as much. Nashville, of course, is the much higher lifestyle because it's the bigger city. More opportunity means higher cost of living, especially in foods, health, and entertainment. And Chattanooga is about 7.85% lower than the cost of Nashville. But again, it's slightly higher than Knoxville. And let's move on to median house prices, because you might want to know a little bit more about the house prices out here in Chattanooga, Tennessee, or Knoxville, or Nashville, Tennessee in general. In Knoxville, the average home price is about $337,000. That's lower than the national average, but Nashville has a higher cost of living on average due to the market demand. So median price is approximately $433,000 in Nashville. That's a big difference, right? $100,000 difference. But in Chattanooga, it's more affordable. You're sitting roughly around $300,000. So I think that's interesting that you have all these different places. Knoxville is a little less expensive to live in, but Chattanooga has cheaper houses too. And you can get houses all over out here. I mean, you can get something down to really cheap, or you can go up into the millions. It just depends on what kind of view you want, where you want to live, what kind of lifestyle you want to live at. So let's talk about lifestyle and culture. Knoxville has a blend of like urban and outdoor with rich in music history and college town vibe. It's kind of like a mix between the two. It doesn't know if it wants to be a business town or a country town. It just wants to be something, so it's just kind of incorporated everything into itself. That's kind of what Knoxville has kind of done. And number 6, what are you going to do there? Is there any attractions when you go to Nashville and Knoxville or Chattanooga? Well, there are. Historical attractions and landmarks, like Knoxville has the World's Fair Park, University of Tennessee, and the iconic Sun Sphere. And Nashville has the Grand Ole Opry, which I've been to many times. By the way, if you go to the Grand Ole Opry area during Christmas, oh my goodness, this hotel, it's nothing like you've ever seen before. It's beautiful. You have to go if you're nearing the Christmas area, nearing the Christmas time in season. They have beautiful Christmas lights up over, not only in the outside, but in this indoor, which seems like you're outdoor because it's a huge, about 4 different terrarium type things. It's got this huge fishbowl thing that comes over it, and it has its own atmosphere, and boat rides inside the Opryland Hotel. It's pretty incredible if you've never been there before. And of course, there's the Country Music Hall of Fame and the trendy neighborhoods like the Gulch. Chattanooga, you got Lookout Mountain attractions, Tennessee Aquarium, and the historic Chattanooga Choo Choo, like I've already mentioned. So you want to check those things out because there's always stuff to do in Chattanooga. And by the way, if you ever go down to the VW plant, the Volkswagen plant, where they have they build these Volkswagens, there's a park right beside it, and it's where they used to house all their dynamite. And they have these giant holes in the side of the mountains that you can kind of walk around and tour, and there's tons of them. And so they built them out so you can go inside some of them, and they're kind of like shelters. So just in case that there was something that came down and blew something up, then it would be protected inside there. And so they have these giant doors on things. It's really kind of a neat thing to go walking in this park and see all these shelters. Just a unique thing about Chattanooga. And of course, Knoxville and Chattanooga have the Great Smoky Mountains because we're kind of on that side of things. And Nashville has lively parks and botanical gardens and urban areas. And of course, don't forget Chattanooga's riverfront that we have, because we have built out beautiful areas right down in the middle of Chattanooga, like Coolidge Park and the Tennessee River Walk. So what's the most interesting part about this whole thing? Well, it's actually, to me, it would be the lifestyle and the cost of living, because it's so interesting out here. You have a beautiful atmosphere, 4 seasons, and you also get to have the greatest cost of living because there's no actual state income tax here. So it's really cheap to live, and all your expenses are taken up by people that come in on vacation because it's a sales tax state. And Chattanooga has the best cost of living of them all, making it the cheapest and most budget-friendly state to live in with you and your family out of Knoxville and Nashville. So if that's something that you're interested in, why don't you come look me up? My number's on the screen, and we'll hopefully see you around town.